Welcome to the 6K Sports Sedan Challenge presented by Continental Tire, where today we're going to add some noise to this thing. That's right, we're going to chop off the mufflers and make this thing hopefully sound a lot sportier. We're told by you LS guys that that is a good way to add some noise without it being obnoxious. But before we do that, as you saw at the end of last episode, this thing wasn't running quite right. We think we have a vacuum leak somewhere, and we thought, you know what, let's do a diagnosis here and see if we can figure out what exactly the problem is so that we can take the next steps to solving that problem. And to do that, we're going to bust out one of Pete's favorite tools, his fancy smoke tester.
That's right, everybody. This is one of my favorite tools, and that is because you figure out where you have leaks. In this situation, we don't know where we have a leak. We think maybe it's that dirty paper gasket that we put in there, but you never know.
Don't talk bad about my dirty paper gasket, Pete.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. This is from Autool. I've had this for a couple years now, and all it does is just create a bunch of smoke, and then it feeds through this line. What we've done is plumbed it into here, and we've opened up the throttle body a bit, and I've plugged any type of possible hose here that would leak out into the engine or not cause a self-contained system here. Oh, I can already see something coming here, DP.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, see, look at this.
Oh yeah, a little bit of smoke is...
There is smoke coming. Oh my goodness, you know where it's coming from? It's coming from the injectors.
The injector seats? Oh wow, yeah, look at this one over here, Pete. This guy here is real smoky.
You can see we've got ourselves an answer. Our injectors are leaking, and truth be told, when I was putting them in, I'll show you in a second, I was a little worried that they didn't see properly, and I know now why. So here is our issue. First of all, the O-ring on the injector here doesn't look like it's seating, it's just too loose. So you can see the injectors moving around here way too much. So we should, well, that's not a huge problem. So I think if we just replace this O-ring with a thicker one, you know, most injectors, when you put it in, it kind of wants to like pry it in and pop down. You kind of push it in. This one doesn't. So see this little O-ring? It is fatter than the one that we have here. So I've installed it on this injector.
On this side where we haven't changed anything, still smoking like a hippie. And on this side,
it's looking good. So I think the next thing we do here is do both sides and fire this thing up and see. All right, everything is back together. DP, fire this thing up. Right. Cross your fingers. Oh, yes. Yes, okay, my friend. There it is. She's purring like a kitten.
You can tell it's not misfiring either because it's so smooth. Before it was kind of shaking around.
Yeah, that is good, man. That is so good.
Well, we've spoken to Travis about the leaking issue that we've had with the injector seals, and turns out we've got a bit of an oddball injector. Travis told me to measure from the top of this bushing to the bottom of the lower bushing, and you can see it's a hair over 45 mil. I probably loosened them up, but they basically measure exactly 45 mil, and all of the OE injectors he's had and measured come out to 48 mil. So we've got a 3 mil difference, which means that the stands that hold the fuel rail in and thus determine how deep this sits in the manifold are 3 mil too tall. So all we need to do is sand this down by 3 mil. That'll let the injectors seat down fully. We'll have a good seal, and the problem is solved. So
I wasted all that time putting all those friggin' O-rings on there, right?
We did. I mean, we had a fix with this height stand, but now that we know the real issue and how to fix it properly, we'll go ahead and do that. And in the future, Travis will ship out multiple size stands. So if you happen to have these oddball shorty injectors, you'll have the right height stand for it. So no worries there, he's got that covered. So now it's time to plop these back in here, sand these down, and we'll show you that we've got a good seal. Giving her another smoke test to see if the fix has done the job, which I'm pretty confident it will, because man, did I ever do a precision job sanding those down, Peter. You'd be proud of me. I scribed a 3 mil line around there and then taped along the edge. All on Peter's advice, of course. I would have just sent it, smashed on the sander.
And then I just over torqued it and flattened it
exactly,
perfectly,
squished
right?
them down a little bit. All good so far. Not seeing any smoke here. Oh, I see a little smoke over here by the throttle body. Where's that coming out? I think that's coming out
between the throttle body and the temporary spacer we have in there.
Oh yeah.
That's where that's coming out.
But as far as the injectors go, look at that.
Well, that's a good sign because this thing like will force its way out
Yeah.
to a point where, you know, now it's starting to build a little bit of pressure, and if those were leaking, you'd certainly see it.
Yeah,
So.
no sign of any leak there at all. So I think that's done the trick, PT. What do you say we move on to, man, is it time? Is it time to chop that exhaust?
I think it is.
All right, let's do it. Behold, everyone, what a true sports sedan looks like with a true dual exhaust system. None of this having to cut out the trunk and fake it by putting something in there that was never there before. This is what a sports sedan looks like, PT.
Yeah, all 2 inches of girth there. Look at those tiny pipes. Like, what are those, pea shooters? Man, you're not making any power on that
It's a luxury
thing.
sports sedan. They want to keep it quiet. So we're going to fix the quietness by doing some basic surgery. Boom, we're just lopping these mufflers right off. We've talked with a bunch of friends in the LS community who have done this mod, and they say it sounds really good. Gives the car a bit of growl, but amazingly enough, it doesn't make it drony and it doesn't make it too loud. So I can kind of get why. It's got huge resonators on it. So we're going to try it and see how it sounds. So I'm optimistic it's going to be good because the people giving me advice, I trust. Except for Dylan, you know who you are. And our plan is to literally chop them off and then weld in these really nice slash cut exhaust tips from Vibrant Performance. And to do that, we're going to use a reducer to go from or an expander if you prefer, to go from the 2-inch up to this, what was this, 3-inch?
3-inch, yep.
And the tip I think is 3.5-inch. Got a couple bends, a couple hangers. So this is the part where I have to start being nice to Peter because I don't know how to weld.
First, I want to commend you, DP, on making the right tip choice.
Yeah, isn't that a beauty?
I really like this, and 3.5 inches. I didn't even think they existed. I thought it was like a 3-inch and a 4-inch tip, but 3.5 inches, good for you, Vibrant, for making that size. But I think it's gonna look absolutely perfect. Like the hole here will fit 3.5, and I think the tip is just gonna look so good. Now, what the game plan here is, thankfully, there's 2 clamps right here, so we're gonna be able to remove these sections on their own, which is awesome. I think we're just gonna cut it right here. That'll be really easy. And then make a quick little 45 or 60 bend, and then go to our exhaust. So follow along, won't you? I'm gonna get the Sawzall out here and do some chopping. Quick change of plan here. I didn't want to use a Sawzall to make this cut because I realized I am gonna have to weld to it, so I wanna make sure it's a nice straight cut, which means I'm gonna take this exhaust off. However, look at this bolt. This bolt doesn't appear on the M5 in the sense that it's rusty. Look at this thing.
It's pretty rusty.
It's so rusty.
This car's been in Canada for almost a decade
Yeah,
now,
well,
so.
thankfully I've got the secret sauce here, the fluid film. I'm gonna give it a good spray, and then I'm going to attempt to take this thing off here.
So you're telling me you can use fluid film as a penetrating lube?
You betcha, man. This stuff does everything.
I thought it was a rust protectant, but it's
Well,
a
it is
penetrating
both. A
lube
little
too?
bit of both, yeah.
Magical sauce.
So let's drop these guys on, because our little Milwaukee right angle impact does make a little bit of noise. So let's see what happens here. Uh-oh.
Is she gonna be a breaker?
I think I just stripped it, DP.
Oh no.
Yep, that is most certainly stripped. So I'm coming in with the extractor tool right now. Let's see if this bit is gonna let us. Oh yeah, it's on there nice.
Huh?
Yeah, look at it. It's going on there real nice.
All right.
Oh my goodness, it's on there like full. Wow.
Yeah, it's so rusty.
It is so rusty. I'm gonna get the big boy
Yeah,
impact
hit
down
it
here.
hard, hit
Let's
it
see what
hard.
happens. All right, so upon further inspection, this does actually look like it's coming off. So I'm gonna keep going here and see what happens. Wow.
Oh, impressive.
That is impressive. Now, oh, it's smoking. I don't even know how we're gonna get that out of there, DP.
Yeah, it lives in there now.
That is, whew.
Hit it with some fluid film. That'll get it out.
Yeah, wow. I just punched this out of the extractor, and look at it. Is this like the world's tiniest nut?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Like, look how thin and puny it is. And what I think happened, you could see it sheared the washer off.
Yeah.
By the looks of it. So
Yeah.
it just like took that, but this extractor bit worked wonders. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna try by hand this time because I feel like maybe the gun overdid it, but I could tell you right now it's already stripping.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah, I
at
can
yeah,
see the
there it
socket
goes.
spin in there, yeah.
Man, all right, well, let's get the extractor bit out again. Oh yeah,
She's spinning.
spinning again. But... Oh, this one
Sheared it right off.
done. That makes life easier for me, actually.
Yeah. Do be cautious.
Oh, I should be wearing gloves.
Yeah, and we're right by the fuel tank here too, so you're aiming it the right way. Wow, it's making some noise.
Well, this is a lot of heat here. I'm
Yeah.
not messing around. Put a bunch of heat into this bad boy here. So this is gonna work here.
So basically,
Yeah.
we tried the brute force method when all we needed to do was spin it out.
Woo!
That's funny.
If you're working on cars as much as we are, then this may be a tool you want, which is an exhaust hanger removal tool, I guess.
Sure.
Look at this thing, like that. It's amazing how easily or how good it works and how easy it makes that job. Usually you're like fumbling with it, trying to get a pry bar in here, and that tool does wonders. The Lexus is full of win here today, DP.
Yeah.
We started off with that problem, and now I'm looking at this weird hanger setup here where it's like these two rubber rings
Yeah.
that are holding it on. I thought, no big deal, we'll just pull them off. But as you can see, this one's looped around this tie down that's not not
a
use as a
tie-down, yeah.
tie
It's a
down.
tow hook that must not ever be used.
That's right. So I think what you normally need to do is there's two nuts here, and you would remove those two nuts, and then this whole thing would come down. However, ours are pretty rusted, so we're
Yeah.
not going there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to yank this down. All right. Oh, it's so close. There we go. It's off on that one side. Oh, there it is. Man, that is not cool, Lexus. That is not cool. Now this is loose, and look, it's still holding on here. Quite a bit, actually. So our struggle now is going to be, I bet you this here is rusted.
Yeah, a little.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Fully rotted in there.
Not rotating at all.
Oh,
Maybe we
dang.
gotta heat that up.
Dang
DP.
it.
Didn't think we were gonna be using the old oxyacetylene torch so much.
Yeah, well, rust is the enemy. It really is. So even with all that heat, I can't seem to get this thing to move at all. So I'm gonna blast it with a little bit of water here. Look at it, just boils off. It's that hot. It creates steam, but this may cause rapid expansion, which could potentially work, but it's like a steam bath for this car. This is incredible.
Come on. Wow.
Why is this on here like that? Oh my God. So I just had that thing glowing red hot, and finally, I think we won the battle. Oh my God, it's still fighting me.
You can hear
You can,
it's all crunchy in there.
oh man, there it goes. Oh, oh dude, it's there's a gasket in there, I think, or something. Look
really?
at that thing. With those mufflers now lopped off, we can move on to doing some fabrication work. What we're gonna do is use the Vibrant J bend. This is a mandrel bent stainless steel. And we're going to, I think, lop it around here so we can start getting, we can utilize this bend here and a little bit of this bend here, get it turned towards our exhaust tip here. And there you have it. Our straight pipe is done. That was a bit more work than I expected. We had to do a lot of like small little cuts here and there to get this to line up straight. I do really like the way it lined up. Something to note if you're doing this, I'm not a professional welder or fabricator by any means, and what I didn't realize is somehow this shrunk by about 5 to 7 mil. We started off with this exhaust tip much further out, and it's come in quite a bit. So this isn't necessarily how we wanted it to sit originally when we mocked things up, but it certainly shrunk itself. Speaking of the exhaust tip and this reducer, huge thanks to Turn 14, because we could not find them anywhere. And sure enough, I logged onto Turn 14's website and they had this 3.5-inch tip and this, I think it's like 1.5 to 3-inch upsize pipe.
Transition,
yeah. So big thanks to them. They're always our go-to, and we're like, okay, we need something quick. If it's not around, Turn 14 always has it. So thank you guys so much for helping us out with that. Now, I think at this point, the last thing I need to do is I fabbed up a quick little exhaust hanger. You guys, I don't know if we showed you this, but there was like almost like a tow hook here. We removed that because it seems useless. And I fabbed this thing up here. Now what we're gonna do is build a hanger that goes off of here to here and just get this secured right where we want it. So I've bent up this exhaust hanger, and as you can see, it's gonna line up really well here. Now to ensure that this is lined up properly, I've brought the TIG over here and I'm just gonna weld it on the car since this is such a critical thing for me. I don't wanna screw this up. As you can see, I've got the little clamp on here holding this nice and tight. Now, should be able to just stack this on here. And there you have it, guys. We've got ourselves an exhaust hanger. This seems to be working really well.
Lexus, or the Flexus as we should call it from now on, is straight piped, and it's getting much more flexy in the process. And thanks for all your hard work, PT. You did a great job. This is the first time we ever straight piped a car?
I think it is.
I think it might be, and it gave me an idea.
Crazy things are happening here.
There are some crazy things happening, including naming each of these pipes. I think the first one should be called Jacob, and the second one should be called Yuri, because, you know, there's this little YouTube channel called The Straight Pipes. I thought, you know, let's pay a little homage, pay a little respect to our homies, our Canadian YouTubing homies, doing cool stuff with cars too. So, man, I know you guys want to hear what it sounds like, and we're not going to leave you hanging. Man, that sounded good, and surprisingly still very, very civilized. I did not expect it to be as quiet as it still is. How did it sound to you, Pete?
It was good. Honestly, I think it's perfect.
Yeah?
It's not gonna have any drone, but it does have that V8 sound coming alive, and I think it's like pretty deep.
Yeah.
Had almost like a little bit of idle chop,
Yeah,
which
it
is
does
pretty
have
cool.
like a little chop at idle. I noticed that too. It's pretty cool. So I'm stoked to get this out on the street and actually go for a proper rip and hear it out in the wild. But before we do that, obviously we're gonna head to the dyno to test this thing and see how much power it makes. So stay tuned for the next episode, everyone, where we will continue to get this thing ready to make some real power and maybe give that M5 a run for its money on the dyno. I'm not promising anything, everyone. I'm just saying we've built the cooler car here, even if it's not the more powerful or the faster one.
The other upside is we get to see you in these sweet green goggles, PT.
I know,
It's a good
I
look.
know. That came with the kit. And I do actually have some cool shades, but I figured this is the right way to go. I don't want to be showing people using sunglasses for this when you're supposed to be using these certified glasses, these goggles.